My mother was a nurse, and when I was a little girl, back really in the era, I think, where health information wasn't as protected, she worked on Sundays, and she brought my sister and brother and I up to the hospital every Sunday. And after lunch with her, we would go visit her favorite patients in the hospital. And she always walked in the room first, and she always wanted to know if it was okay if they wanted to meet her kids. But before she even said a word, and she'd walk in the room, the whole room would light up when they just saw her. And I just will never forget that power she had in people's lives to just transform a room when she walked in. And I wanted to be that when I grew up. So I was a cardiac care nurse and had gone through nursing school. I really liked the ICU. One night I took care of a man. He was 40 years old and he had a stroke. And no one expected him to pass away. His family was just so devastated. Everybody, the whole community was really devastated. And when they asked his family if they wanted to donate organs, his grandmother and aunts and mothers just got hysterical. He didn't look dead to them, and they were just distraught. They thought the hospital was giving up, and they were having a hard time understanding. And out of this just chaos in the room, this 15-year-old boy stood up and he said, I just went to get my driver's license, and they asked me if I wanted to be my permit, and they asked me if I wanted to be an organ donor, and I said no. Daddy popped me in the back of the head and said, boy, that's the right thing to do. And this room just calmed down, and all these aunts and grandmothers just kind of looked at each other, and they looked at this man's son who was just so devastated, and the grandmother looked up and said, well, you heard the boy. He's going to save lives. He's going to be a donor. And I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and I stalked the organ donation program till they hired me, and decided that was kind of what I wanted to do with my career. When I was looking for a job to be a transplant administrator in the United States, there were 3 open, and I remember sitting at my desk and seeing that it was University Transplant Center that had the first opening. I could, for 8 hours, tell you how special University Transplant Center is. Everyone who works here is world class. I mean, everyone that works here, their passion and what they bring to the program just sets me on fire.